Alright, so where we left off in the previous video is we were about to check our work and make sure that this actually is the variance that we should calculate. And just to start that process again, anytime I don't know how to calculate or use a function in Excel, I can come up here to this scripty f sub x. This is known as the insert button, as you can see. I'm going to click on that. Type a brief description of what you want to do, and then click go. Well, I want to find the variance. So I type variance and I click go. Now look, Excel has a ton of variance formulas in here, and statisticians, business people, managers, they're going to use these functions. You might have to learn them or, take some time and read them. That's why those appendix extra credit assignments in your book are really help you in the business world. You'll learn that this VAR function, in fact I tell you now, estimates the variance based on a sample. We had a sample of rent values. Sounds like this is what I want to do. So I can pick this one. You can either click on OK or you can just double click it. And it says, okay, what numbers do you want me to calculate the variance of? And you can see over here it's kind of guessed and it's not right, so just delete that. Now, I can drag over the numbers that I want to calculate the variance of, but it's going to be easier for me to type. The numbers that it's looking at are the original data. So you're saying to yourself right now, did I have to go through all that? No, except for that you won't get points in our class unless you do. Okay, because you need to show me that you understand the process. So this is a double check, okay, to make sure that you've calculated this correctly. So A2 is where our data started, A71 is where our data ends. That's all the data, and look at that, it's already telling me that I have calculated the correct answer. Click OK, and look at that. I've shown my instructor I know how to do this, I understand the processes, and I've used Excel as a double check to make sure that I understand what to do. That's fantastic. Okay. Now, we could stop there, except for that this has been calculated in squared dollars, right? Because S is squared. That's what we just calculated. S squared. This is also squared dollars. Well, that doesn't make any sense to us. We'd like to take the square root of that so that we just have dollars. Now, in Excel, the way you can do that is you can just SQRT is the square root function. Hey, if I didn't know that, I would come up to this scripty f sub x function, and I would type in that I'm trying to take the square root. And look at that, SQRT is the function. Now it says, what are you trying to take the square root of? The variance. Click OK. And look at all those decimal places I've maintained. So now I know that this is the dollars. So what have I just calculated? We called this the standard deviation. So in other words, how much does my data deviate within itself as we look at the data values? Now, if you finish the slides that have been uploaded into the Pause Desire to Learn system, then you'll see that we do continue on to calculate the standard deviation, okay, and that it is just simply the square root. As you do, you'll notice we have multiple formulas in there. Remember, today we talked about the importance of the symbols and explaining to the reader of our formulas that this is either for a sample or this is for a population. Okay, so as you go through the slides, and I'm going to go back to our slide on variance, you will actually see in your book and on the lecture slides two formulas. The formulas are almost identical. When we looked at calculating the average, they were identical with different formulas. Now the formula is a little bit different. When we are using a sample, you have to take, for example, 70 observations and subtract 1. When we are using a population, the capital N represents a population, and this is a lowercase Greek s known as sigma. This is the sigma over here is a capital Greek S. Then we do not subtract 1. We'll talk about the reason for that in our lectures, but be aware that as we continue to progress, you will see that the formulas are going to deviate a little bit, and that's going then into coefficient of variation. But we'll pause here with our calculation of variance and standard deviation, and we'll say that we were a great success for today. Thanks very much.